What did you learn today? Something that you didn't know before?
Well, not today, but yesterday I learned that George Washington is buried on his property. I didn't know that before. And it's a very short walk from his house to his gravesite. So that was something I found really interesting.
What did you learn today? Just one thing that you learned today that you didn't know before.
That I could walk a long ways.
What was your favorite thing you saw today?
Abraham Lincoln's memorial. It was pretty cool. I was just amazed that I actually saw it, and I've always wanted to see it, so that's one of my favorite parts.
What was your favorite thing you saw today?
The Lincoln Memorial.
Why?
I saw it in Transformers when I was a kid, and I always wanted to go.
What is something you learned today that you didn't know before?
That there was a war in Korea. Yep, I've never learned about that ever or heard of it.
Or how did you learn about that?
I went to the memorial,
Yeah,
and
you
I saw
did.
it.
Yeah, you
Yep.
did. What is one of your favorite things if you had to pick?
I'll pick everything because I really like history, and it's just been a dream to just explore the world and learn more about it.
My favorite thing that I saw today was the Jefferson Memorial because it was beautiful. I really liked the structure of the pillars and the way that they looked on the top and the bottom. It looked like I was in the Hercules movie. It was so cool.
The Holocaust Museum, I learned so much from there. I only know a little bit from it, but it was just so cool that I found out more information.
I learned that the Jews were put in ghettos. Well, they weren't originally called ghettos, and then they started being called ghettos.
There's a lot of history that we don't really pay attention to until you go into those museums and you're like, whoa.
I learned a lot of new things, such as the reason why most of the museum they tell us to take pictures without using flash is to protect the artifacts from light damage. I never knew that before.
What is your favorite thing so far?
I really liked all of the monuments we went to today. But I really liked seeing the the one of our independence, 4th of July,
Yeah.
guys. Yep, that one. I liked that because it looks like it's going away, and I'm glad I got to see it before it fully fades.
What was your favorite place you went today?
The Washington Monument.
The monument is actually 555 feet, 5 1/8 inches tall, and at the time of its completion in 1884, that height made it the world's tallest structure.
We went up into the tower thingy, and we saw all of Washington D.C. and it was cool.
Today I learned that George Washington is 6'4".
The Washington Monument was used as a slaughterhouse during the Civil War.
You can literally see, you have a good view of every single angle whenever you're at the top. At the top is 500 feet. Whenever you go up, it's a 70-second elevator ride from the bottom to the top. And then on the way back down, they stopped twice so you can get a clear view from the elevator.
It's this?
What was your favorite place we went today?
The American History Museum.
I can't believe he actually wore this when he got shot.
I liked the pop culture section. There was Dorothy's shoes from the original Wizard of Oz. There was Star Wars, the droids from the first Star Wars movies, C-3PO and R2-D2. And there was Hamilton's original green jacket that Lin-Manuel Miranda wore. Miranda wore this. This is probably the closest I'll ever be to him. And there were so many other cool things I can't remember. Oh, Captain America's shield.
I learned the generations of the dresses today, how it developed throughout the times. Thanks to Jean Jesse who brought us there. It was really cool. I really enjoyed seeing how dresses were developing over time and seeing who wore them. My favorite place we visited was the African American Museum, History and Culture.
I'd say the African American Museum, yeah.
My favorite thing we visited was the African American History Museum. That was the museum that really was heavy on my heart and really impressed me.
I learned also about the Civil War in a deeper way, and really cool things about what they used during slavery also, and how their houses looked. It was pretty wowed. I never thought about that, and how the textbooks just leave things and leave you hanging. And I learned so much more than the textbooks.
It had more than just the usual, because usually when we ever talk about African Americans, we just think about slavery and segregation, and I got kind of bored of it. But then when I went upstairs, I realized it was more than just that. There were sports and the culture of the African Americans and how they developed through time.
It was really touching to me because we saw the Emmett Till's memorial and how he died and everything.
Emmett Till's body was exhumed and they kept his casket, his original casket, for the Smithsonian Museum. It's really sad, and you can't record in there for respect to the family, but it was really sad to see the casket.
went to 2 places today. My favorite one is Harper's Ferry because I love a lot of things. They're rich in history and just the town in general.
It was pretty cool. I got to see how a lot of people lived. I saw Jefferson's Rock, and it was pretty cool. I thought it was awesome. It was where Thomas Jefferson surveyed the land and was like, wow, that's cool land.
Today I learned that John Brown, the people in Harper's Ferry, they had slaves, and so John Brown was working to abolish that. And coincidentally, the first person that was killed was a black person. And so then the settlers that had slaves turned it around on them, saying at least we keep our people alive. With you, they die whether they're free or whatever.
The stone in Harper's Ferry that is in remembrance of the first person that got killed there, their name is spelt wrong. And I think it's really interesting how even though there's a memorial to him, it's they didn't even take the time to put his actual name on it.
The little house thingy with the fire department from John Brown's raid was moved around the country.
Ooh, yeah. Where to? What was one of the places they moved it to?
Chicago.
Yeah, for the World's Fair.
Yep.
Of the 2 places we went today, what was your favorite?
I'd have to say Antietam, probably.
Why?
Because I liked learning about how it was the bloodiest battle and that happened in one day. I think that's really interesting that I got to see that
23,000 people died in one day.
place, and it was cool because of all of the memorials and monuments and stuff like that, to honor all of those who fought, and I just thought it was really cool and interesting.
One of the things I learned is that I believe it's the Confederates. They marched all the way from Harper's Ferry all the way to the Antietam Battlefield, which is about 17 miles, and it's very long. I ran 10 miles, and I had a very hard time finishing it. Did not even run, they marched, which is very crazy, and I find very interesting.
What is something you learned today that you didn't know before?
That there was a pile, and it was 5 feet tall, of dead men that fought in the sunken road at Antietam.
Of the 2 places we went today, what was your favorite?
The battlefield. Antietam. Because I liked swimming and swinging off the rope into the river.
My favorite place that we went today was the bridge, because it reminded me of Anne of Green Gables.
I really enjoyed all of it, genuinely. I loved DC. I loved different parts of DC for different aspects. I really enjoyed going and seeing all of the monuments that we saw, like the Abraham Lincoln Memorial. He's huge. It's really cool. And it's in like so many movies, and it's such like a statement in those movies. So it was really cool to see that and like think about what it really meant. I mean, getting to go in Washington's monument was such a fun time, and getting to see like all different parts of the city from way up there, and I really liked the museum, all the museums, because it's really important to learn about history. But if I had to pick a favorite museum, it would definitely be the small section within the American one, the pop culture one, because there's so many things there that I appreciate and I grew up with. And I finally got to see them, like, I got to look at them, and it was really cool.
This trip, I was very much appreciative that we got to go to the American Pop Dinghy because I saw the sign from MASH, which is pretty dang cool. I love MASH.
The Lincoln Memorial, because yeah, I've always wanted to see it, and I like that type of building. So, yep.
I'm so grateful for a lot of things. One of them being Mr. and Mrs. Everett. Mr. and Mrs. Everett opened their doors up for us and letting us stay with them. We really enjoyed it, and I really appreciate it. Another thing is I appreciate Mr. and Mrs. Tashi for arranging this trip for us. It was very educational, and it was very, very, very touching in a way.
I appreciate that the Everett's family took us in with open arms, and they're very kind, and they're like party people, so we're also like teenagers, and they're like, oh my gosh, y'all are so fun, you know. I also really appreciate Dean Jesse and Mr. Max, the Tashis, for bringing this trip into our minds and be like, hey, DC, Washington, hey, you know. I think it was pretty cool how Dean Jesse brought it up into our U.S. history.